Hello and welcome back to Here We Tow. In this video I'm going to give you some top tips on how to save money on motorhome insurance, because yes, motorhome insurance is quite expensive, and when you're purchasing a motorhome you really need to factor that in. In this video, as well as the top tips, I'll talk about how much I've paid for insurance on my motorhomes over the years, including our Sportivo as well, which I've just insured. So first of all, the main thing is when purchasing a motorhome is to think about who you're going to insure that with. Now, there's a way to find out the best one for you. One, shop around obviously, but two, ask the dealership or watch videos like this. Find a credible source for that motorhome insurance company. Once you've got an idea of who you might want to insure with, check out Trustpilot reviews. This is something I always recommend, no matter what you're doing or what you're buying, look at Trustpilot, because that's going to give you an idea of what service you're really going to get, because the cheapest premium is not always the best insurance policy for you. And that's coming from someone from Yorkshire. The cheapest is not always the best option. You don't want to have a collision and then discover that that policy is neither use nor ornament. So Trustpilot. You can also go on the Facebook groups for the motorhome you might be purchasing and ask them, who do you insure with? And you'll get some really good feedback, because a different value of motorhome or type of motorhome, whether it's semi-integrated or integrated, can really affect your premium. Now, in terms of motorhome insurance companies that I would recommend, yes, Caravan Guard. I've always been insured with Caravan Guard. Very happy indeed with the service. There's also the Caravan and Motorhome Club, the Camping and Caravanning Club, Howdens, Comfort and Aviva. Those are all very good motorhome insurance companies that I would recommend to you. So once you've decided who you want to go with, go online or make a phone call and get yourself a quote. So what is going to help reduce your insurance on your motorhome? First of all, storage. Now, if you're going to store your motorhome at home, what will affect your premium is your home postcode. A bit like your car insurance, the higher the risk postcode, the more your premium will be affected. And what the insurance company will ask is, where are you keeping it? Is it on your driveway? Have you got any security on your driveway, such as a fixed post? So that will affect it. The other place you could look to store your motorhome is at a storage yard. Now, Kosoa, who you may have heard of, I'll put a link in the description. Kosoa rate storage yards for security, and the securer the storage yard, the cheaper your premium will be. So if your home postcode puts you at a higher risk, consider whether paying for a storage yard will reduce that premium. So where are you going to store your motorhome? Secondly, safety. What security and safety do you need to put on the motorhome? Now, because of the value of our Sportivo, £114,000, we needed a number of things to be able to actually get insurance. So we needed a tracker. There's different types of tracker in terms of the level of security. Generally, people talk about Thatcham approved. You'll definitely need that. An S7 and S5. Now, we have got a Scorpion automotive tracker. I've used them twice now on my motorhomes. Again, I'll put a link. So we've got a Scorpion tracker, and the S5, which is what we needed, is one that is monitored all the time. So if your motorhome is taken without the necessary fob or the keypad number being entered, whatever type you have, the centre is going to know that your motorhome has gone without authorisation, and they will contact you immediately. So, tracker. Do you need a tracker? Generally, you may well. Now, what you also might need is an alarm system. And again, Scorpion Automotive can do alarms. There's other companies as well that do alarms. So have a look on the internet and speak to your dealer as well. Now, also in terms of security, there's a number of other items that you can get. Now, interestingly enough, well, it's not that interesting. There's only so interesting you can get with motorhome security. But interestingly, with Caravan Guard, we either had to have, as well as our tracker, an alarm or this wheel lock. This is a steering wheel lock. It's the Malenko, and this is a high security one. This is actually the commercial one, because obviously this is a commercial vehicle, as the Mercedes, the base of it. So to get insured, we either had to have the alarm or this. So we got this wheel lock for our steering wheel. Cheapest I found this is actually at TMD Motorhomes at Withell, and they're selling this for about £61. Online it's £71, £72. So yes, so we needed that. So the good thing about this Malenko one is it's covered under the Sold Secure. Now, Sold Secure is an organisation that tests out security equipment to see how robust it is. There's a number of tests they do, and if it passes, it gets the Sold Secure. And that's why insurance companies will recognise this as a suitable steering wheel lock. Don't get me wrong, if somebody wants to get this off, they will get it off. But let's do what we can to stop it being your motorhome that gets taken. So that's our Malenko steering wheel lock. You can also get wheel clamps, you can get locks for your pedals, for your handbrakes. There's lots of other types that you can get. So that is our security: tracker, alarm and steering wheel lock. Right, next thing is your mileage. Now, when you buy a motorhome, you don't know how many miles you're going to be doing. You might really enjoy it and never go home, and then you're going to have quite a high mileage. The higher your mileage, the more risk you are, because you're out on the road more chance of being involved in a collision, heaven forbid. So never overestimate your motorhome mileage. What it's best to do is go with a lower mileage you think's realistic, and then if it turns out that you're doing more miles, you can always contact your motorhome insurer and increase your mileage. So go with the lower estimation on your mileage. Now, I'm not telling you to commit insurance fraud, absolutely not. Don't put in a lower mileage and then do 10,000 miles more. That is fraudulent. What I'm telling you is, if you think you might do 5,000 a year, put 5,000. Don't go up at 15 and then do 5, okay? So use the mileage that you think's the lowest estimation, because you can always then go up. So mileage. The next thing is extras. When you go through the process of getting your motorhome insurance, it might offer you European motorhome cover, European breakdown cover and UK breakdown cover. Now, you need to find out, do you actually need all those? Because with Caravan Guard, they actually have your base price and then they'll add all those in, so your premium will go up. Now, if you have no intention of going to Europe, do not take European cover, because it's a waste of money. Again, if you then decide to go to Europe, you can always contact them and add that to your policy. So on our motorhome, I've got European cover because we're off to Europe soon. I have European breakdown cover, and I've also got UK breakdown cover. Now, the Mercedes does actually come, and Fiat as well, because I've had Fiat before, they do come with their own recovery. However, I like to take my insurance recovery, because I know if I'm involved in a collision as opposed to having a breakdown, then I'm going to be able to get recovered. The Caravan Guard one I actually used a few years ago. There's a video of that. I had a blowout on the motorway and I was recovered, and I got an excellent service in that respect. So make sure you only take out what you need. So if you don't need the European or the breakdown, then don't do it. So the last top tip is who's going to drive your motorhome. Now, for me, there's me and Jules. I've got my C1. So as it is though, this is a 3.5 ton motorhome, so we're both insured on it, we both can drive it. If you're getting a motorhome that requires C1 and one of you hasn't got it, then it might be that only one of you is actually going to be insured to drive it. However, if you're looking at both of you, who has got the best driving history? Because your driving history is potentially going to affect your premium, and so is your age and your occupation. So have a look and consider, are you actually both going to drive that vehicle, or is only one person going to drive it? And find out how that might alter your premium, because certain occupations are more risky. If you've got 6 points on your licence and you've written off 3 cars, that might not go too well. It might also be that one of you's got a no claims bonus as well on the motorhome. I've got a couple of years no claims, because before our motorhome required C1 on the licence, so I was the one that was insured and drove it. So have a look at your named driver. So those really are the 5 top tips to reduce your motorhome insurance. Obviously, if you've got tips, put them down there, but basically, where are you storing it? What's your security on the motorhome? What is your mileage? Do you need the extras, and who's going to be driving it? So those are the top tips. Now, let's talk about money. In terms of insurance, now, this motorhome, so this is £114,000. It is brand new motorhome. I have just paid £794 on my insurance for this, and I've got those security features. It's considerably more than the Matrix. Now, the Matrix, I insured that. The first year it was just over £600, I think it was £630. And then the second year it actually went down and it was £560. So that might give you an idea of insurance premiums depending on what your motorhome is. So yeah, those are what I paid. A few years before that, we had the compact DL and I paid £500 on that premium back in 2021. And the motorhome before that was the Coral, which was a few years old, a used motorhome. And I think I paid about 390 on that, I believe. So that's what I paid for my insurance over the years. Yes, I've also been insured with Caravan Guard, and yes, I've always paid for my insurance premiums. So there we go. Hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea around motorhome insurance and what you can do to save some money. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.